And welcome back to the ICC Hour now as we're talking with women's soccer coach David Strother. Coach, coming off a real big weekend with Meet the Indians, and this next weekend you kick the season off. So, man, the summer has flown by. Just real quick, let's kind of just look back at Meet the Indians.
Yeah, so as always, Meet the Indians was a fantastic event. It was great to see some alums come back and be a part of that. You know, some not necessarily as fit as what they used to be whenever they played with us, so they just stuck around and hung out with the families and got to know some of the new players and some of the returning players. But the overall event was great, and we always look forward to that. We feel like it's growing every single year, and so we look forward to putting that in place for our 2020 season whenever that begins next season.
And one thing that's really cool about it is it's also a good networking for parents. Because a lot of them may not know each other, but you see them kind of bond and get to know each other, and it just kind of sets the tone for the day.
Yeah, it does. It definitely. And in fact, with our large freshman class that we have, we have 15 freshmen that have come in, so that's 15 groups of families that don't really know one another, and then along with the 10 returning sophomores. So it's nice to see them interact and get to know other parents, get to see them interact with other players. We have international players on our team, so it's nice to see those parents extend an invitation on the weekends and say, hey, if you need somewhere to stay, come over. And so they get to see them on a one-on-one basis and get to know them other than just as teammates or as their daughter's teammates. So it's good.
All right, before we get into kind of previewing the season, let's talk about that international. That's one thing that a lot of people may not understand the recruiting process of that. So take them through how, and don't give away any secrets for anybody out there, obviously, but how do you go about finding these? Because you don't jump on a plane, fly out to Scotland, but it's very unique how you come across international players.
Yeah, so we're fortunate enough that the league has now allowed us to have international players again. There was a time where the league didn't want international players to be a part of it, and so it's nice that they've opened that up for our recruiting. And it really starts with just the success of the program. A lot of times international players are looking for an opportunity to come to America and get their studies, and they don't have as many opportunities to play back in their home countries. So have the opportunity to study as well as playing, that's something that intrigues them to come to America. And so whenever we've been able to build this program to what we have the past few seasons, a lot of times players will reach out to us individually. So we start with that process. We try to find our needs based on the recruiting class, and the ones that reach out to us personally, that lets us know that they're interested in us. We also use agencies. We've done that in the past and had some good success. So really it's just about trying to find a niche similar to what we do with American players, but it just comes down to the ones that really are interested in being a part of Itawamba soccer.
So we got Maisie coming back from last year. But tell us about the internationals you have.
So we have Maisie Sumner returning back. She was a player for us last year as a freshman, played as a center back. Started, I believe, every single match for us and did a really good job. She was an all-state player for us. This year we have another incoming freshman who's actually a transfer from a four-year university. Okay. So she was there, took an injury whenever she was in her preseason, and so she traveled home, had surgery, sat out a year, and didn't study in college, and now she's coming back to us. Her name is Ellen Swift. And we expect really great things with her, and so we're excited for that opportunity to have her come in and be a part of an American environment and also American studies again, and provide that for her.
Okay, where did you say where she's from?
So she's from England.
Okay.
She's from Norwich, and
okay.
She played for Norwich Ladies as well. So okay. Maisie is from Blackburn, played for Blackburn Ladies, and Ellen is from Norwich. So Norwich, in regards to the level, it's very competitive, a lot like Blackburn. So a lot of times when we recruit international players, like we want them to come from an atmosphere where it can be professional, because we can't have professional players come and be a part of this, but we want them to be at the highest level possible, similar to what we do with club players here in America. And we feel like both of those are going to be great assets to us this season.
All right, let's talk about your sophomores coming back. A lot of experience, players that got thrown to the fire as freshmen, but by the end of the season really grew up in a hurry.
Yeah, and that's always something that's really nice to see whenever you have a returning class of leadership. We're not as big in a returning class in relation to what our freshman class is, but to see them step up and really push the freshman class, it's been really good. So some players that have stood out as we've been going, we have Grace Joyce returning. She was our leading goal scorer last year as a freshman. She came in this year fitter than she was last year, more hungry. You can see it in the way that she's training, the way that she's practicing. So we're excited to see how she develops through her sophomore year. We have Allie Chenal returning, who is also an all-state player. Allie played on a WPSL team over the summer with the Lobos out of Memphis. WPSL is the second division of professional soccer and for the women's league here in America. So she's playing with D1 players against D1 players, and it really gave her an environment to develop her talents. Nice. And so we're excited about her coming in and continue continuing that. And I could go down the list with our sophomores. I mean, they've done an exceptional job of not just stepping up with their fitness and with their attitude, but just the way that they're leading the whole entire freshman class. I've been very impressed.
And segue right into that, freshmen, a really good recruiting class this year. Just talk about your freshmen and then just how they're coming along to get, because a lot of people may not realize this, even on the junior college level, there is a big jump from high school to this level.
There is, and I think that they've have learned the adjustment. It took a few days in preseason. One of the biggest things that we try to instill during our preseason time is just competing. And to come into our environment, we always want to compete, whether we're against an opponent or against our own teammates. And so something that was taking place with the first few days was they were adjusting to the level of competition, understanding that if you lose, there's consequences, and if you win, there's rewards, whether it's in practice or in a game. And so they've really adjusted quite well to that. We've been able to be a little bit more physical this year, a little bit more athletic based on our returning players as well as our incoming freshmen. And so I'm very excited to see that athleticism really hopefully create some success for us in this upcoming season.
So fans that come out to watch you this year, what can they expect to see out of Lady Indians?
So we've always been a hardworking team. We've always been a defensive-minded team that's organized. I think that defending leads to good attacking, and so last year that kind of complemented one another. We had the most goals scored within our season last year, than at least the most since 2012. Also, we conceded the least amount since 2008. So I think there's a good balance there, and I think that that's going to continue for us this season. That's the expectations then anyway. We know our competition is going to be very tough. Each team in our league seems to have gotten a little bit better this season. But we want to be an aggressive team, both defensively and offensively. We want to be an exciting team. And I think in the past you've watched us, and we've been exciting defensively. And then whenever we look to go score, it's kind of exciting too. So we want to continue that for 2019.
And you kind of talked about it, the schedule being tough. Well, you didn't do the girls any favor with your first game of the year, which is coming up on schedule for the 24th. Of course, weather pending on that. But you're taking on national perennial power ASA Miami.
Yeah, and so it's an interesting contest. We were scheduled to play Jones down in Ellisville, and the head coach of Jones called me up and said, hey, we have a team coming in, ASA, who I was familiar with, a lot of the same coaching circuits I work with during the summer, the ASA head coach works with as well. So we've never had a chance to meet face-to-face, but we interact with a lot of the same coaching staff. So I've heard about good things with this program. They're relatively new. They've only been around for about 3 seasons, but a lot of the way they're able to recruit based on the guidelines they have, we're under some different stipulations in MACJC. They're able to get a lot more international players than we are, and it creates stepping stones for their internationals, a lot like ours. They get to go onto the D1 and Division II level. They just have a lot more of them, and so we know that they're going to be very technical. We know that they're going to be probably quite athletic. I mean, that's the expectation. And so to play a team like that straight away, that's something that we're trying to do with our brand. Anytime that we can go out of state and play competitive games, our league is already very, very tough, but we want a little bit more recognition, not just within the MACJC. We want a little bit more national recognition. And to get that, we have to play teams like ASA and some other teams that are playing out of state. So we're excited about the opportunity. We're looking forward to it.
And it's actually going to be back-to-back games, because then you travel to Southwest on that Sunday, and then really unique, because most sports, get 3 or 4, maybe 5 games before matches, before you get tuned up, but then you jump right into division play on the 30th to round out the month. So just talk about that mentality, because 2 games back-to-back, and then, actually have Southwest Tennessee on the 27th. So you do get those three non-division matches before you get homes, but still a lot of nuts and bolts to tighten in after 3 matches.
Absolutely, and that's what this league is, and even that's what collegiate soccer is. You don't get much time to prepare, and you don't get much time to adjust as the games go on, step by step. So what we want to do is we want to see if we are building through each individual game. So obviously we'll play back to back. Well, even though we play on a Saturday, we will want to see improvement on that Sunday, and then we will see Southwest Tennessee here as a home match, which will be our home opener, and it's just women only. The men don't have a match that day, so we're excited for that environment to hopefully maybe build on just the women's game being their home opener. The men's team will have a different home opener for themselves, and we know that those 3 games should be a good challenge for us to prepare for Holmes, who in the past has kind of sort of been with us, 1 and 2 in the North Division, and we're just trying to rise up to their level, and we feel like with these 3 matches building up, it'll be a good opportunity for us.
This year is the first year we've had the 4-day school week. So what adjustments have you made? Because I know with the 5-day, classes were a little bit different. So it's made across the board for all the coaches, you've kind of had to get creative in the way that you can train throughout the school week.
Yeah, so I actually think it's going to be a great thing. Obviously it's going to give our students and our student athletes a little bit more flexibility on their Fridays. So for us in our practices, we train in the morning, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. And then our students usually go to class starting at 9:25. So I think my players will be excited because they're going to be able to sleep in a little bit. We won't have to train at 6 a.m. on Fridays. And then that's really going to give us a flex day to prepare for most of our matches that are on Saturdays. So I'm using that day to prepare instead of maybe a crash course of, okay, go to training, go to class, and then let's have our team meeting that night. I feel like there's going to be a little bit more flexibility where we'll have some time to do these things and not necessarily rush. So I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. There's some adjustments with the cafeteria. There's some adjustments with some different entities. But as far as what I think it can do to help us prepare for matches on Saturdays, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, David, we're coming up on a break. We're talking with women's soccer coach David Strother. You guys have a very strong social media presence. So with our listeners out there and watchers here on letsgoicctv.com, real quick, give everybody a shout out where they can keep up with you guys on social media.
Definitely. So our handle is the same for all of our accounts. So you can follow us on Twitter at ICC_soccer. You can also follow us on Instagram, ICC_soccer. So it's easy to remember. And go give us a like, give us a follow. We'd like to add to our account any way that we can.
Closing in on 1,000 on Instagram.
That's absolutely right.
David, before we close out, anything else you want to add?
No, we just look forward to the upcoming season. We'd love to see support, not just from our family and friends. We want to see community support. This program has gotten stronger and stronger every single season. I think that a large reason is because people in the community have gotten to know what we're about, and so younger players get to come out to games. Parents get to come out to games and get to know me, and they get to see what we're about. And so don't just watch us on a live stream, which we love to do because we have such a great presence with what you guys do. But come out to a match too. We've got a good number of weekend matches, and we've done that to set up more of an environment where we can have the community come and watch us, and we just want that support. We want to be successful, and we know that to be successful we want to have a surrounding of people that are looking for us to put out a good product, and we're looking forward to doing that.
And the good thing is it's free to get in.
It always is.
So you can find that schedule on letsgoicc.com. David, appreciate you taking time out of your day to talk to us, and it's Saturday, let's go get them.
Absolutely.
We'll be back